Coming up tonight on Unsolved Mysteries. NES Chronology was a semi-popular Patreon-supported YouTube video game review series. However, in December 2016, it mysteriously vanished. Even more surprising, a similarly named non-Patreon-supported series appeared the very next month, only the then to vanish. Affluent Connecticut man Michael Levy, a known Cool Ranch Dorito enthusiast, was preparing a review for his Metal May of 2018. He was to review Holy Diver, the NES game not known by many. However, nothing has been seen or heard of this review since. Did he decide that maybe the game was too similar to Kung Fu, or was it something much more insidious? And lastly, a local Bay Area resident asks herself one of life's most compelling questions. All three of these cases are missing just one final piece, just one final clue that may forever help solve them. Maybe that someone is out there watching tonight. Maybe it's you.
Alright, I'm not actually doing an Unsolved Mysteries episode. I just wanted to do the bit. We're talking about Toejam and Earl back in the groove. Let's check it out. The original Toejam and Earl is one of my all-time favorite games. I'd put it up there on my top 5. I loved that game. I have such warm memories for it. So obviously, when I learned that they were making a sequel, I was hyped as hell. I didn't even know there was a Kickstarter for it. I got into a lot of this scene around May of 2015, and the Kickstarter for it was in March of 2015, I think. So I just missed it. I did manage to get a t-shirt from it, which I had in my Portland video all long time ago. And I was super hyped for this game. Toejam and Earl back in the groove. How could I not love it? It was going to be a return to form made by the original people. It just, everything, it looked right. It had the art style wasn't too crazy about it at first, but let's get into the game. So immediately upon putting it on, it strikes that Toejam and Earl 1 vibe greatly. But it does manage to merge some Toejam and Earl 2 flair into it. The trees and the bushes you have to shake, just like the second game. It has the hyper funk zone. There's the annoying meters you have to put coins into that then lead to these little button pushing games. There's a lot of the NPCs from Toejam and Earl 2 that make a cameo. You got the ghost cow, the dude who sings in the box. It's a nice snippet of Toejam and Earl 2. And then I've never played the third one, but I can only think that the people that the extra characters like Lawanda and whatnot that I didn't use, I think they were introduced in the third one. So already, beginning stage looks just like stage 1 in the first game, leads me to believe that if I get some Icarus wings, rocket skates, and inner tube, I can find level 0, which, yes, there is a level 0 in this game, and it's even better than it is in the original game. There's all these walkways you can walk along, and it eventually leads to this giant island of thank yous and presents, and it's just, altogether, the game is such a perfect love letter. However, I'm not sure if I like it. I'm not sure. I go back and forth on this. So I played it by myself. I've beaten it 3 times. I beat it twice by myself, and I beat it once co-op with my little brother. It captures that essence of the original game. You know, I was able to plan ahead, identify all the presents, make sure we don't hit the randomizer or the total bummer, get all the money to ask from the wise man, find the ship pieces, and end the level. I appreciate that they've introduced stuff such as the evil elevators that drop you down a level. It has the same style when you're walking on top of the planes. You can see the levels below you, although the Switch version is a little laggy at times. You know, it wasn't game-breakingly so for me. I've heard from other people that it's a little worse. But, you know, generally you just see black background, but not a problem. My issue with the game is that where the original was very based on present collection and exploration, this one seems to be a lot more based on NPC enemy avoidance. What I mean by that is every level, you'll notice this very early on, is just packed to the brim with non-player enemies and non-player helpful enemies, and a lot of the presents even are based around gathering more of those enemies. And I think in general the presents are a little too much. I mean, they have fix a present, they can have broken presents, they have change the present, amp a present, amp 5 presents, expel presents. Like, there's a lot of filler presents in my opinion. That's one of the things I really like about the original game is there aren't too many redundant presents, whereas this one, and they have doorway, they have time teleport, they have different versions of inner tubes you can unlock. Like, there's unlockable presents. There's unlockables in the game. That's another thing. Is you don't start with the option for a fixed world or a random world. You have to beat the fixed world to open up the random world. I kind of get annoyed by that. And then once you beat the game, you get the option to select a hat, and then you can play the game with hats, and the hats give you random bonus abilities as you're playing. So that's a cool, I mean, it's cool they're putting in replay value. I appreciate that, but I'd almost would rather it just be, I don't know, like unlock everything. I don't want to play the game again just to unlock stupid stuff like that, and just have it in the game, the base game. And the original didn't have to do. I mean, I'm gonna be saying this a lot, but anyways, the original didn't have to do any of that crap. And the other issue I have is the levels just feel too small, and that compounded with there being too many enemies really makes it feel less like I'm gonna check out every nook and cranny and then go to the elevator when I'm ready, to oh god, there's no ship piece on this level, okay, let's go to the elevator, because there's so many presents, and they're really not, I mean, other than getting the ones that lead to level 0, they're not that useful, because you find so much money, you can just hire the opera singer to wipe out enemies, which the opera singer is way more useful in this game than she ever was in the other game. And the, like, in general, using with the Earthlings and the friendly Earthlings is much more of the, I guess, the meta in this game than going around finding the invisible platforms that build, which some of the sound effects too are callbacks, but they make you just want to play the real game. Same thing with the music. The music is great because you'll be like, oh man, I almost hear that riff. Oh, it's not the riff from the original game. And I'm not saying I don't like the game. I love what they've done. I'm so glad this game is around. It's very intelligent, the way they melded Toejam and Earl's 1 and 2 style, but still kept it mainly Toejam and Earl 1. It's fun just to have an updated version of the game to play. My two biggest things, I just wish there was less NPCs. I mean, they even have elite versions of NPCs. You'll find a regular ice cream truck and then a black ice cream truck that's more edgelord. Although it is a smart device where when the ice cream truck chases you, it drops ice cream cones that fill you up, because your health goes way down and way up in this game, but there's generous amounts of food to bring it up, much more so than the old game. I never really felt like you would get damaged, but it was more like, oh damn, I got screwed, the ice cream truck killed me and now I'm dead. The game's a lot more generous with lives in this one too, as well as the promotions. And the promotions is another thing. In the old game, you just get a promotion at random, and then it's done. In this one, you have to go to the Carrot Man, who then gives you the promotion. So you have to fill up your XP bar. Once it's filled, then you have to go to a Wise Man, and he then allows you to level up. He'll also identify presents still, but another issue I have is that the question marks you find, even if you identify them, they still stay question mark. They don't turn into the regular presents. So if you don't, it just makes the identifying gameplay I really enjoy in the original a little bit more cumbersome, because then it's like, well, do I even want to pick up a question mark present? And yes, there's far more Wise Man and far more money, which is also another thing that in the old game, I'm going to say that a lot, in the old game, the Wise Man really was just around levels 5 to 15, and then he just disappeared. So once you got to that point, you had to plan ahead, like, I need to get this much money, I need to find this many presents, I gotta find the randomizer, and I gotta find the total bummer. That way I can progress and not have to worry about killing myself or ruining all my progress. I almost felt like finding the randomizer in this game wasn't that big a deal, since all the presents were so non-consequential anyways. Most of the food you could find out there, and then it's just, you know, like one of the presents is just jump to ship piece. Yeah, okay, that's fun and all, but come on. There's just too much. It felt like there was too much done into it. It could have been scaled back a little bit. I love the art style, actually. I still prefer old school Toejam and old school Earl. Geek Jam was fun. I like that he would get a random skill boost when reading a school book. That's a nice touch. Although I still, having all the characters have their own individual stat trees, and then when you level up, you get random stats like more inventory, more speed and all that. Like, yeah, it slows the gameplay down a little bit. As much as I really like the game, I don't regret buying it. It makes me want to play the first one. It makes me want to play the first one, which is kind of sad. The Guitar Hero type minigame is fun. That's another callback to Toejam and Earl 2, which I did enjoy. Especially the one on level 0 is really long and difficult, but still nailed it because Guitar Hero God. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't hype. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It's a good game. Now, that is your Lucious T review. If I was going to give this game a score, man, I'm still going to give it a 9. I know, call shenanigans. I'm still going to give it a 9 because it's still a great callback. The co-op with my little brother was great. Thank God he listened to my dictatorsness and didn't let him use any presents. Oh, that's the other thing, is the co-op is interesting. In the old game, one of you was always on top, one of you was always on the bottom. Now it's based on where you're on the screen. So if I'm up here and then I walk down here and he walks past me, we'll merge and then we'll go down. But then when we share presents, usually you can share presents by opening it on the same screen. That was a little bit less clear how to do, or not clear how to do, but it worked a little bit less frequently because you really had to stay in there and do it at the same time. Otherwise both people wouldn't get the presents. Anyways, guys, that's what you got. And hey, time for some more Jen the Noob.
And she's pissed. Just enough.
More pissed.
What is it gonna say?
And she's pissed, like you said earlier.
I don't remember neither.
And she's pissed.
And she's pissed.
Yeah, do that again.
And she's pissed. Still your new gamer voice.
Hold it, though. You gotta hold the pose.
Oh. And she's pissed. That was great. And she's pissed!
You gotta hold the pose for more than 6 seconds. Imagine you're on stage.
Oh. And she's pissed! Blackout.